Welcome back to Bobby and JJ Radio. This is Brian Gutierrez filling in for the missing JJ Guarena. We'll find him one day. I'm sitting here with the wonderful Juan Solis and Krystal Isaac from BB&T, and they're here to talk about some financial wellness. Is that correct, guys?
Absolutely. You know what? We understand completely. One of the things and the charges we have is to be involved in the community. But the one thing that we have found consistently at Branch Banking and Trust has been financial wellness is an issue that affects so many people. Mm-hmm. So how do you define that? Krystal, give me some numbers about that.
Yeah, so we just brought, some statistics to share for good of the group, but,
Bobby knows stats.
Yeah, it's great. And this is specifically for Texas, so this is really interesting. So the Houston Chronicle came out a couple weeks ago with an article that stated about half of all Texans do not have a savings account. 60%
I have one, it's just empty.
You just got to put something in it.
He's the only one with a negative balance in the savings account.
You're the guy that we closed down.
Right?
Yeah, exactly. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. About 60% have subprime lending credit scores, and just to give it a little perspective here. So 32% of Americans between the ages of 56 and 62 have no savings at all. And so where Juan and I come in is speaking about financial wellness, also like in the workplace, where we're trying to push for employers to provide financial wellness to their employees in the workplace, and showing the difference that it makes for them, and offering that financial coach can reduce their productivity and work when they're more financially stressed.
That's exactly right. What we're starting to see is that there is not anybody that is immune to thinking and waking up in the middle of the night wondering how their paycheck's going to match what they have as expenses. Mm-hmm. Everybody has those issues. And one of the things that we have is the ability for us to help somebody overcome that anxiety. It's an anxiety that happens. You wake up in the middle of the night and say, oh my God, I got this bill coming. I have this. What am I going to do? Right? Mm-hmm. That's the reality. Mm-hmm. So for us, what we try to do is teach techniques and show them the things that happen so that people can avoid that. But it's a real reality that hits. And then when it hurts at work, we see that productivity is reduced. When somebody's worried about their paycheck, we've all had small business employers as well as big business employers tell us when somebody goes, hey man, can you front me my check? I need to pay earlier. That happens. That's reality. And when that happens and you tell the employee no, well, they go back because they know their water's going to be cut off in 5 hours. They know in the morning that something's going to happen. We've all seen that and understood that. One of the things that BB&T, which is Branch Banking and Trust, teaches us is empathy, right? You got to understand. You can't be somebody who thinks you're above everybody else. What it is that we understand, and that's what we try to teach. It's really simple. Financial literacy is nothing more than understanding what you come in. Everybody knows that. They get a paycheck. That's easy. What's hard is where does the money go, right? Where does it go? Does it go to a bill? Does it go to this? We've all had the experience of waking up one morning and the cold's coming, and guess what's going to happen? Your battery's going to be dead. That wasn't something you budgeted for. That wasn't something you planned for. But yet it's going to affect you because now you can't get to work. If it's not payday, maybe you don't have the money to buy the new battery. So then what do you do? Right? So financial wellness, charge it, make sure you're looking at it. But the reality is that and simple little things that we're finding out. Now people are talking about at least having somewhere a savings of $500 is what the ideal number is, that somebody should be able to save because of those instances. As an example, you wake up in the morning, flat tire, wonderful. You go to repair it, right? So you have a choice. You're going to say, well, is it... and what do they tell you all the time? Whether is it buy one? No, they tell you got to buy two. There you go. You got to buy the whole set.
We know one blew out, but just buy a whole set. It's cheaper that way.
Just do what Brian does. Just drive around with the spare tire the whole time.
There you go with a little donut.
It doesn't matter.
So the choices that you have that we've seen over the life is right. You can go buy a used tire. Well, I'm gonna be caught 35, but all that is a little patch on something that's gonna blow out again. Yeah, you're not fixing the problem. Financial wellness, when we talk about that, is helping people help themselves, learning where those monies go after the payday. Where does it go? Where does it come back? Will it come back? Is it a good investment? Now, one thing I will tell you that the hardest thing is when you look at this, you can't be judgmental. The reality is we all make decisions based on our own circumstances, right? Everybody's got something different. Whether it's a new baby like Brian had a couple of years ago, whether it's something that happens, right? The baby gets sick and all of a sudden you have things that you didn't even anticipate that you have to pay for. By the way, how is the baby?
Sarah's doing well, man. She's 5 now.
She's 5 now?
Yeah.
Excellent. So it's important to be able to understand those are expenses that nobody quantifies or prepares for. And those are key issues that we talk about.
So one question I have, Juan, let's say somebody wants to jump into this, right, with BB&T, right? Great organization, by the way. I mean, the fact that you guys are just so in tune with your clients, the people that actually, bank with you. So when you sit down, are you deep diving into their savings accounts and their checking accounts and saying, hey, let's really see where this money's going? And should they really just kind of take a step back and say, hey, look, these people, like you said, right, they're not judging me. They're really trying to help me understand where my pennies are going, and at the same time save so that way if something major happens, then I can take care of myself.
That's exactly what we do. This morning I did a presentation with Workforce Solutions, Alamo Workforce Solutions. These are people getting back in the workforce, and the questions that and the answers that we provided were all about how do we rebuild. Here's the reality: we all get knocked down. Everybody's gonna get knocked down. It's how you get back up. How do you get back up? And what's important for us, we work with businesses where we come to you. We go to your organization. We go to your employees. We set aside whether it's a lunch and learn. Or today we were also at the state hospital today, also knocking out new employees who need to understand how it works. That's important for us. So we become a help. We become part of the HR department for businesses to say, hey, I want you to talk to my employees because they're the ones that are putting a rock in a hard place when the guy comes and says, you know what, my car's dead. It's got $1,200. I can't come to work.
Can you give me an example? What would be something that you would help them with or something that they'd walk away with from sitting with you and getting some information?
A creation of a budget, a creation of understanding the budget in particular, right? And budgets are always a tough word. They sound real ominous and they're really like, oh my God, I can't do a budget. The reality is that people understand that you just got to understand that there are some priorities. A big issue is this phone. So here's the discussion: a need or a want?
It's a need.
Really?
It is.
Most
now.
people think it's a want. You look at a phone and you say, is it really something that you need? You still have access to a lot of different things. And so when you have that discussion with parents, so does a 10-year-old need a phone?
No.
Yeah.
Does an 11-year-old?
I got to give you a want on this. I think it's more of a want. For example,
no,
right?
I'm a real estate agent.
Right.
I need my phone.
You need a phone. But, I mean, at the end of the day, if you were to go into the office and actually just dial on a hard line, those still work.
Yeah.
Well, how is my clients? How are they going to get a hold of me?
Well, it's just I think that we've programmed ourselves in society that you need to call right back as soon as that phone rings.
That is correct.
Versus, hey, I'll call you as soon as
Or
I'm
the other phone that happens is like, okay, like I make fun all the time. It's like right now I probably had 2 text messages and I can tell them I'm still on the same program that I was 30 minutes ago.
Actually, I responded to the first one already for you.
So
but yeah, that's something that we go into together is the budgeting review to see, okay, what are these needs versus wants, but also connecting to them on a personal level to say we've experienced clients of all different walks of life, and we may have been in that personal situation at one point in our lives as well. So Juan can connect so well with certain parts of communities, and when I do presentations, it's connecting with people that have gone through like student loans and what that has looked like, or credit repair and all of those things. So we take a step to say that, we're not judging you, but that we have probably been in that position ourselves at one point. And so they get more comfortable
with us.
And we
also believe everyone can reach financial success.
Absolutely. So what I was thinking, is there anything set up like as a follow-up or maybe accountability? Because most people, once you leave them alone, they're going to go back to where...
It's a two-way street. It is a two-way street, and you're absolutely correct. What we like to come back is we do a series of them, right? The first one is banking basics, and then you can go into budgeting, home ownership, and the road to being able to have your own business. That's banking for your success. In financial wellness, we cover even what are some of the tips when somebody looks. Recently we went through financial wellness, and I went through a demonstration for mortgages and buying a home. Well, nobody thinks you're a realtor. Do you tell people, hey, you ought to check the weather and how it affects your house? No. Why not? Because look at what happened with the hurricane. If they understood that sitting and having a house in Houston, Texas, behind a dam, that when needed was going to be released. Well, I'm just talking in general, absolutely. Right? That's an excellent question to ask a person who's thinking about buying a house. Check it out during the weather. Does it flood? Does the neighborhood, how does it happen? Those are the tips that we provide. Those are things that we say, in order for you to be a homeowner, there's several things. One is obviously capacity to have the loan. Both of you know in mortgages inside and out. But when you're talking to clients, we can provide that advice too. Just go check the weather, see what it's like. I think the biggest thing that's happening also is you should check the traffic. God almighty. Traffic in and out of your subdivisions becomes even harder now as we continue to grow as a city.
Oh, I thought you meant somebody crashing in through like one of your fences, and now you got to pay to fix it. But I get where you're going. So, all right. So it's
right?
really it's saving for a rainy day fund, and I think it's amazing because you're definitely helping people. Just like you mentioned, financial instability affects your work life. When you have the cash, you feel happy to come to work. So, want to thank you guys so much for coming out.
Yeah, Brian. And when people, if they have to contact us, we really want small businesses to contact us. Small business is key, right?
Right.
You guys that have 3 employees, that's cool. I don't need to be going to ones that have 100 employees or 3,000 employees. I want the guy that has a struggle, who has people that they care about. They can contact us. I'm at 1000 Northwest Loop 410, BB&T. Our phone number is 762-3220. And so please call us at that number. We'll be glad to help because that's what we make a difference. Today we take a step forward. But like I say, fundamental, we believe that everybody should have financial stability and the ability to enjoy their lives.
Love it. Thank you so much,
guys.
Juan Solis and Krystal Isaac with BB&T. We'll be right back with Bobby and JJ Radio.